Number 10. You don't own anything, so you stop caring. At first glance, public ownership sounds beautiful. No more billionaires hoarding land, no more rent hikes, just shared resources and collective benefit. But when nothing belongs to anyone, no one feels responsible. If your apartment breaks, you wait. If the street gets trashed, someone else will fix it. If the farm equipment rusts, oh well, it's not your tractor. Let's say you work on a shared farm. You put in extra hours, fix a broken fence, harvest more than anyone. But at the end of the week, everyone, including the guy who slacked off, gets the same reward. No bonus, no recognition. Next time, you don't try so hard. It's not selfishness, it's human nature. Ownership creates investment, not just financial, emotional. It's what makes people maintain, improve, protect. In socialist systems, where the state owns everything, that feedback loop collapses. Without a direct link between effort and outcome, motivation fades. Eventually, the system looks just like its citizens, unmotivated, worn out, and waiting for someone else to fix it. Number 9. Free stuff is never free. Socialism sells itself with magic words: free healthcare, free housing, free education. Sounds incredible. And for people drowning in bills, it feels like a lifeline. But here's the catch. When the government gives something for free, the price doesn't disappear, it just moves. Let's say you need surgery. In a capitalist system, it might be expensive. In a socialist one, it's free, except now the wait list is 6 months long, the hospital's underfunded, and the staff is overworked because they all get paid the same, no matter what. You're not paying with cash, you're paying with time, frustration, and lower quality. That's not compassion, that's bureaucracy. And the more the state controls, the more that trade-off shows up. You might not get a bill, but you'll get fewer choices, more delays, less accountability, because free always has a cost. And in socialism, that cost is often your time, your freedom, or your ability to opt out. Number 8. The government becomes the only boss. Capitalism gives you a safety net, not because it's kind, but because you have options. Don't like your job? Switch companies. Hate your landlord? Move down the street. Start your own thing. Freelance. Pivot. In a socialist system, there's only one boss, the state. Let's say you don't like your assigned job. Too bad. That's where you've been placed. Want a raise? Can't negotiate? Wages are fixed. Have a complaint? Well, who are you going to file it with? Your boss is also the regulator, and the regulator has no competition. That's the danger. Monopoly with no escape hatch. In democratic systems, power is spread around. In socialism, it's concentrated. And when the people handing out resources are the same people deciding what you're allowed to do, you're not being helped, you're being managed. And the scariest part? If the system breaks or becomes corrupt, there's nowhere else to go. You're not free, you're just stuck. Number 7. Equality is promised, misery gets delivered. Socialism promises fairness. No elites, no poverty, no one left behind. Just shared wealth and shared dignity. But in practice, that equality almost always means everyone gets less, not more. Not because the idea is evil, but because the mechanics are broken. Let's say a country guarantees everyone free bread. Nice idea. So they centralize production, fix the price, distribute it equally. But the price isn't tied to actual cost. The baker loses money, the flour mill slows down. Soon, not enough bread, now you're standing in line, not for a bonus, but for the basics. This is what happened across the Soviet bloc, in Venezuela, in Maoist China. Resources were shared, but shortages were standard. The government couldn't make enough for everyone, and no one else was allowed to help. So you get a strange kind of equality. Not fairness, not dignity, but a flat, gray sameness, where doing better isn't allowed and doing worse becomes normal. It's not that socialism hates success, it's just that it tends to ban it, mismanage it, or ration it. Number 6. Innovation dies without incentive. Capitalism has its flaws, no argument there, but it does one thing extremely well. It gives people a reason to try new things, start a company, solve a problem, build a better mousetrap, and if people want it, you grow, you earn, you win. Now flip that into a socialist economy, where everything is state-run. Same wage no matter what, no competition, no reward for risk. Let's say you invent a tool that could double production at your factory. In capitalism, that's a game changer. In socialism, you might be told, that's not your department. The state decides what gets made, how, and when, not you. So instead of running toward progress, people shrink into compliance. Innovation turns into paperwork. Creativity becomes a liability. And that's why socialist countries don't lead in tech, medicine, or design. They might copy, they might catch up, but they rarely create, because when failure and success pay the same, you aim for safe and average doesn't invent the future. Number 5. It assumes people are better than they actually are. Socialism looks amazing on paper, a society built on cooperation, fairness, and shared responsibility. Everyone pitching in, no one left behind. It assumes people will work hard even when there's no personal gain. But here's the problem. It's built on hoping that humans stop acting like humans. Let's say you and 9 coworkers are told, we're all paid the same, no matter what. Everyone's equal. At first, it sounds great. But a few people slack off. A few take extra breaks, and suddenly the ones working hardest realize it doesn't matter, so why keep trying? In theory, socialism believes people are naturally generous, motivated, and selfless. In practice, people are complicated. Some are lazy, some want power, some cheat the system. Capitalism works with human flaws, not because it's noble, but because it's realistic. It lets people act in their own interest and channels that energy into output. Socialism, it pretends the flaws don't exist, and then punishes everyone when they show up. Number 4, it punishes the productive. Picture 2 workers. One shows up early, stays late, and solves problems no one else wants to touch. The other barely coasts by. Now imagine they both earn the same pay, get the same rewards, and receive the same recognition, no matter what. How long do you think the first one keeps trying? This is what happens in socialist economies. There's no upside for effort, no reward for going above and beyond. You can't climb, you can't profit, you can't even stand out. And slowly, the people who carry the weight, they start to step back. Because working harder than everyone else just feels like being used. In the Soviet Union, productivity collapsed not because people couldn't work, but because they had no reason to. Why innovate if it doesn't matter? Why care if it doesn't change anything? So instead of lifting the bottom up, the system quietly pulls the top down. Not to fix inequality, but to flatten everyone into sameness, even if that sameness means worse for all. Number 3, it creates underground economies. Fast. You can regulate the official economy all you want, but people don't live on theory, they live on need. So when a socialist system limits what you can buy, sell, or earn, people find another way. Quietly, illegally, everywhere. Let's say your city rations fuel. You only get so many liters a month. But your job's across town, your kid's school is even farther, so you find a guy who knows a guy, and suddenly, you're buying gas out of a plastic jug in an alley. You're not being greedy, you're surviving. This is how black markets explode under socialism. In Cuba, there's a shadow economy for everything: soap, chicken, aspirin. In the USSR, people traded favors, vodka, and stolen factory parts just to get by. The more the state tries to control the economy, the more people operate outside of it, not because they're criminals, but because a system that doesn't meet human needs will always be quietly rewritten by the people living under it. Number 2, it looks fair on paper until people live inside it. Socialism is tidy, charts, models, equal slices for everyone. It works beautifully in textbooks. But real life is messy. People don't want the same things, don't work the same hours, don't show up with the same needs, talents, or energy. Let's say the government builds 1,000 identical apartments. Each family gets one. Fair, right? Until someone needs a ramp, or extra space for a newborn, or lives next to a guy who blasts music at 2 a.m. That's when the cracks start to show. Centralized planning can't handle individuality, because individuality doesn't scale. And when people try to personalize the system, or ask for adjustments, or opt out, they're seen as problems, not participants. That's the danger of utopia. It only works if everyone becomes predictable, which means it works best when people stop being people. Number 1, it always ends in control, even if it starts with compassion. Socialism never starts as a dictatorship. It starts with care, with a promise to protect the vulnerable, with words like fairness, equality, and social good. But promises need systems, and systems need rules, and rules need enforcers. Soon, we're all in this together turns into, you can't say that, you can't leave, you can't opt out. Because in socialism, you don't just share the wealth, you share the decisions, the rationing, the failure, and when people stop agreeing, they're no longer citizens, they're obstacles. Cuba jailed artists, the USSR silenced writers, North Korea controls your haircut, all in the name of the collective good. Not because socialism is designed to be cruel, but because when one solution has to work for everyone, control becomes a feature, not a bug. So no, it's not the answer to our problems, because if the price of fairness is obedience, that's not a future, that's a sentence. That's it for today. I'll be making similar videos, so subscribe to see them.